Okay, if you listen to Karen's interview about following your dream, you might be thinking, I don't have enough time to do that. And that's the number one thing I hear as people struggle with marketing their book and getting it out there is I don't have enough time. My name is Rivka Kawano, and let me tell you a little bit about what I do and why I chose to talk about time management for this part of this series that we're doing. Everybody, that's the thing they say to me all the time is, how do you find time? I have 3 boys. Their ages are 2.5, almost 4, and just turned 5. I have an online book review blog, beautifulbooksforchildren.com. My husband and I co-own New Media Design Studios, where we do marketing and design. And I'm the oldest of 11 children. My youngest sister is only 9, so very busy family with lots of weddings and babies and something birthday going on all the time. And just all of these things going on everywhere. And people say, how do you do it? And there are a few things that I'm going to share with you today that are going to help you, hopefully, discover how to make time and create the time to live the dream that you want to live. But also giving you some ideas behind what makes you have the time. And sometimes we get stuck. We don't have enough time. We think we don't have enough time, and it's because we're doing the wrong things. This quote is super powerful to me. Don't say that you don't have enough time. You have exactly the same number of hours per day that were given to Helen Keller, Pasteur, Michelangelo, Mother Teresa, Leonardo da Vinci, Thomas Jefferson, and Albert Einstein. That's a quote by H. Jackson Brown, Jr. You have enough time. You have enough time to make your dreams come true. You have enough time to market your book. You have enough time to be a successful author. You can do it. Lots of other people have done it, and you might say, well, I have kids. These people didn't have kids, or, I have a health challenge. These people, maybe didn't have that. Everybody has something they're dealing with. Everybody has some struggle that they're going through that makes them feel like they don't have enough time. But the truth is that we can have enough time. You have enough time when you know your place. If you know your mission, your vision, your values, what you're doing and why you're doing it, suddenly things become clear. If your mission is to share the story that you've written in your book, and you prioritize that, and you keep that in the forefront of your mind and stop being scared and stop saying, I can't do it, I don't deserve to do it. And if you haven't listened to Karen's interview, go back and listen to it because it's fantastic about living your dream and claiming that, yes, I totally can do that. I'm allowed. I'm allowed. And there are going to be crazy things that are going to happen along the way. And it's not always going to work out like you think it's going to work out. But know who you are. Know what your mission in life is, what you want to communicate, and what's important to you. And suddenly time management becomes a whole different thing. And you start shaping your time around what matters most to you instead of just doing the things you feel like you have to do because you have to do it. And that's the P of place. So this is about know my place. I know this is kind of a weird thing, but I was thinking about trying to come up with some ways to share about time management and some of the ways that I make decisions in my life. This is the big one, is prioritize. You have to prioritize what you're doing, why you're doing it. It has to fall in line with that mission and vision and values stuff. Because if you're doing stuff that doesn't really matter, you're going to run out of time. And sometimes things that we think matter, that we've been taught to believe matter, don't really matter. What really matters moves you forward. It connects you to your mission. It connects you to your vision. It connects you to your values. What really matters takes you a step toward that dream. If it is taking you a step backward away from that dream, if it's distracting you from that dream, and this is where it gets kind of hard, and sometimes procrastination comes in here, fear comes in here. Oh my gosh, can't handle life right now, so I'm going to do this over here, and we're going to talk. The next video is with Charmaine Hammond, and she's going to talk about procrastination. And she's written a great book, GPS Your Best Life and Bounce Forward are two of her books, and I think it's really going to help. But before we get there, let's think about that for a minute. So every action, if you woke up every morning and said with each thing that you were doing, is this moving me forward on my goal of marketing my book? Is this moving me forward on my goal of being a successful author? Is this moving me forward on living my dream or not? And then made a decision about what you're doing now. Not everything is going to be related to your book because your book is not your entire life. Your family matters. Your kids matter. Your spouse matters. Your significant other, your life partner, your friends. They matter. And, this is one thing I think as a mother, I know often it's not acknowledged that those things matter. You don't really feel like you get anything done when you just spend an hour baking cookies with your kids. But it matters. It's in line with your mission. It's in line with your vision. It's in line with your values because you value your family and you value your kids, and you can't, leave them behind. So this doesn't mean that we become workaholics. It means that we focus our life and center it on that idea of what matters to us. And sometimes that involves the L of life. It means we have to let go. It means that we don't always get all the stuff done that we're supposed to do, and sometimes even the stuff that we want to do. There are times where you just got to push. You got to push for a goal, and it's going to be hard, but if you can keep that goal in mind, it gets just a little bit easier. And there are a lot of things I do, but there are a lot of things I don't do. I make decisions. I make decisions about, I've got this going on. This other thing's going to have to take a back seat. And I know what the priority is, so I'm able to make those kinds of decisions. I know that, I have this client who's got a book coming out this month that becomes top shelf. And that may mean that some of the other things I'm doing, go away. There's stuff that might not get done. Sometimes my house is a mess. Don't tell anybody. People know. They come to my house, and sometimes people give me flack about it because there's this expectation that I'm a mom and I'm a homemaker, and it's supposed to be a certain way. And if it's not, I'm messing up. But I've made a priority. I've decided that building a life for my kids that is a lifestyle of being able to be home, being able to work at home, being able to help other people achieve their dreams. Sometimes that means the vacuuming doesn't happen that day or that week. Sometimes that means that there are other things I don't commit to. I'm a big yes person, and this has been a struggle for me, something I've had to learn. That just because I can do it, and if you are a talented person, you'll find you can do a whole lot of things. And so for some people, like myself, when you can do it, you feel like you have to do it. So there are things that are not, the most important thing, and you end up doing it because you can. Don't focus on the things you can do. Focus on the things that nobody else can do. It came down to a point where it's like, can somebody else do this? If the answer is yes, then I needed to do what only I can do, because there are things that only you can do. Only you in the entire world can do. Only I can be a mom to my kids. So that is important. Only I can do some of the things that I do in business and help some of the people that I help market their books in the way that I do it, because it's a good fit, and I understand what they're trying to communicate, and I understand how to get their message across. And that's something that I can do. Sometimes the other stuff, maybe filling out paperwork, cleaning the house, doing a bill, committing to another function, this is a big thing where the holidays are coming up. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to move your business forward, because, when you have a book, You're trying to make a living as an author. That's your business. If you're trying to move your business forward in a big way, the holidays are going to be decision time for you. Because you can be having a book event to promote your book, or you can be baking cookies to take to, the cookie exchange thingy that you don't really want to do anyway. You don't know any of the people there. You don't know, nobody will remember that you were there or not. You got to start making these choices. Is this moving me forward in my life? Is this getting me closer to my goals? Is this meaningful? Will anybody remember this next year? We feel this competitive spirit where we have to have, the best cookie recipe. We have to have the cleanest house. We have to have, the most awesome appetizer at the function. Does it matter? Does it really, 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 really matter? And if it does, great. Go do it and don't feel guilty about it. But if it doesn't matter, if you hate it, you don't care about it, nobody else does either, really, if you get honest with yourself at the end of the day, then let it go. Sometimes the other stuff that we distract ourselves with are going to be those things you have to let go. Your favorite TV show even. At the end of the day, does that energize you and help you feel more alive and help you feel more like you can do what you need to do? Or does it just make you feel guilty because you wasted an hour of time? Now, again, own your choices. If there's one thing that I can communicate about time management, it's that you need to own your choices. If you decide, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch an hour of whatever program, or I'm going to watch a documentary or a movie, and you enjoy it, and it is thought-provoking, and it builds your creativity, then sit down, throw yourself into that for that hour, and enjoy the time, and don't feel guilty about it. One of the biggest time wasters of all is worrying, beating ourselves up, going, should I have done that or should I not have done that? Should I have done something different? Now, there's a good time for reflection and for saying, am I making the best choices and all of that kind of stuff. That's important. But that's different than just the constant questioning yourself, the constant analyzing every single thing you do. You put on the blue shirt and you say, I should have worn the red one today. Focus on those major things. Focus on what you really care about, And if it's your book, if you really care about your book, then you're going to have to make that a priority. You're going to have to say, I need 5 hours a week, or I need 7 hours a week. Consistency is important here. So whatever you're doing, you got to do it consistently. So if you can say, I'm going to spend an hour a day on my book, recognize that unless you have an hour of time right now that you're just sitting around doing nothing, something else somewhere else is going to have to go. Somewhere else you're going to have to make that hour up. And a lot of us just pile more stuff on. So somebody says, hey, can you do this committee? Can you do this thing over here? Can you help out? And I'm a big proponent of volunteering your time, helping, giving for good causes. So I'm not discouraging that. As long as, again, you're owning that choice. You're not feeling guilted into it, but it's something you really care about and really want to do. And that you really feel like contributes to part of that mission, vision, and values. So if you commit to something new, always in the back of your head, you should be asking yourself, okay, what am I going to give up in order to do this? What am I going to cross off the list in order to do this, in order to get this done? And if you aren't giving something up to add that on, you're just adding on busyness that's going to crush you. So I want you to take a minute right now. I'm going to pause for just a second. And it's going to be weird and uncomfortable because it's going to be quiet, but I want you to fill in the blank, seriously. If you want to get serious about making 2012 your best year yet, selling books, getting your message out there, be an author who's serious about what they're doing, then you're going to have to let some things go. So stop for a minute and think, what am I going to let go in my schedule over the next 6 weeks in order to make 2012 a success for me? What did you fill in the blank? What did you let go? And this is what I want you to write in the comments below. I want you to say what you're going to let go, what you're going to give up in order to make those priorities happen, so that at the end of the year, you didn't, bake the prettiest cookies for the function while your book didn't get sold. You didn't, spend the most time decorating your house while your family didn't get any time from you. You didn't go to that meeting that holiday function you felt obligated to go to where you don't even really know anybody. Well, you weren't doing a book event to promote your book. Because at the end of this year, you're going to say, I did the things that mattered to me, and I let go of the rest. Which is the next step. Now you know what your priorities are. You get rid of this extra stuff. Now you got to do, what are you going to do? You don't do the stuff you don't do, but you do something. Action is absolutely critical. Absolutely critical. You can talk and think and plan, and a lot of, real great time management people. I'm talking about myself here. We're great at lists. We're great at making lists, and we're great at systems, and those are important. We're going to talk about systems, and we're going to talk about lists, and it's really critical. But if you don't do, you're never going to get there. So right now, what action can you take today to move your book forward, to move your marketing forward? Maybe it's something little. Putting a note up on Facebook saying, hey, guess what? If you're looking for a great gift for the holidays, this is my book and this is who it's good for. Maybe it's something big, like saying, okay, I need a website. Maybe it's something, like just calling up your local bookstore, your local library, and saying, hey, can I do a book reading and signing? Okay? And those things can be crazy because it's like, I've never done that before. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea how to move forward. Sometimes you only learn how to move forward by moving forward. And this is going to sound crazy, but if you look at every successful person, there's a whole string of failures that come before their success. Sometimes they're visible failures and sometimes they're not. But the point is that we try, we learn, we try something new, we get better, and we keep moving forward. There's a quote that I love from Thomas Jefferson. And it says, do you want to know who you are? Don't ask. Act. Action will delineate and define you. Basically saying, we do a lot of this like thinking about, what do I want out of life? How am I going to get there? What do I do? And this might sound crazy as part of a time management thing, but it is. Because while we're sitting around thinking about what to do, there are a lot of stuff. And even in a lot of people might be familiar with the Getting Things Done method, which is fantastic, wonderful, highly recommend the book, highly recommend the method. But one of the parts of that is that if you can do it in less than 5 minutes, don't even put it on the list, just do it. Just get out there and get it done. Just start chomping into it. Just open your email and start replying to stuff. You get stuck on an email and you go, oh man, this person wants me to come and do a book event. I don't know how to do that. And so what do? We go on to the next email. No, start plowing through it. Get out a piece of paper and pen and say, okay, well, I could do this, this, this. Or, like, okay, I know I need to do, more on my social media. I don't really know what to do. And we think, or we might research, which is all good, all important, But at some point in time, you act. You just go and tweet something. Pick a quote out of your book. Throw it up there. It is super important that you act. If you're going to be successful in 2012, you have to act. You have to do stuff. You have to move forward. Super, 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 super important. And your future, how well you do tomorrow, how many books you sell, how recognized you become as an author, whether you can write your next book, depends on what you do today. Mahatma Gandhi said, the future depends on what you do today. Absolutely true. So what are you going to do today? What are you going to do today that's going to not only help you be a success in 2012, but set you up for success in 2013? Because we want to make this year be your next year ever, your best year ever, and we want to make next year be your best year ever. And the year after that should be even better than that. Okay? Because you got to keep moving forward. You're taking action right now by watching this video because you're making a choice. You're making a decision that you're going to move your book forward. Okay? So this means take control of your time. Take control of your choices. Take control of your actions because nobody else can do it for you. Make an inspirational mix of songs that get you fired up, whatever. Okay? And we're going to be talking about, as we talk to Charmaine, and then as we go into, we're going to give you an opportunity to have more information and more tools and all of that stuff coming on down the line. And we're going to give you a bigger opportunity to invest in yourself and invest in your book. But even without doing that, if you do nothing else, if you watch nothing else, if you learn nothing else, remember that you have to do. You have to start doing, even when it's scary, even when you don't know what you're doing. And we're going to try to give you as many tools as we possibly can to help you know what you're doing, make you feel comfortable with that. But take action, and that's up to you. So prioritize, let go, act, and cluster. Now here we're kind of getting beyond some of the foundational stuff, and this is just some tips of what I do to actually get stuff done and manage my time. This is things like if you've got errands to do, plan it out. Think about where do I have to go and try to, organize that in a good way. Try to sit down and make a bunch of phone calls. Try to sit down and pay your bills. When you get the mail, when you get your mail in your box, immediately pull it out. Look at it all once. If it's junk mail, throw it away. If it's not junk mail, if it's a bill, pay it if you can right then. If it's something you need to respond to, do it if you can right then. If it's a survey you have to fill it out, stick it in the envelope, close it back in your mailbox before you even do another thing. Because the more time we have to go back and do stuff again, the more time we're spending doing it. And a lot of the reasons why we don't do it is maybe we're not sure what to do, we get stuck, so we wait. Still going to be the same problem when you come back to it. Still going to be the same set of questions. You're still going to know just as much as you know usually. Of course, there are exceptions. Sometimes you have to research stuff or whatever, but whatever the next step you have to take to get that thing done is what you need to do. This also is about having clear goals, knowing what it is you're trying to do, knowing what your mission, vision, and values are. And then just make your life systemized as much as you possibly can. And even if it means you only get a little bit of stuff done at a time, just keep moving forward. The most important time management tip that I can give you is consistency. I think I've said that 2 or 3 times now, the most important tip. There's lots of important things. But as far as a real concrete time management thing is be consistent. If you know you can only spend 20 minutes a day on social media, spend 20 minutes a day every single day on social media. Don't spend 2 hours at the beginning of the week and then nothing for 3 weeks. that's not going to move you forward. You know, if you know that all you can spend on making, you know, maybe you work a full-time job. You know, I've done that before too. You know, now my big thing is juggling time between my kids and what my husband needs to do for our business and all of these different things. But I've been in the corporate world too, and when I was starting my first business, it was seriously on my lunch break, you know, making phone calls, trying to line up sponsorships. And it was crazy, but it was like, I've got this time, that's what I'm going to do, and I did it. But the key is to do that all the time, every day, know what you're doing, and stick with it. The other thing that I do is kind of one of my secret tips, especially if there's a day when I'm feeling tired, feel like I just can't get anything done, is I'll set a timer for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on the kinds of things I'm trying to get done. And I'll rotate through different things I need to do, you know, whether it's, you know, doing the dishes or whether it's making phone calls or sending out email or, you know, jogging for 10 minutes, whatever it is. And I'll do one thing till that timer goes off. And then whether or not I'm done, whether or not I'm in the middle of it, yeah, I move on to the next task. And this is especially good for things that could take an infinite amount of time, okay? Because you could literally spend the rest of your lifetime looking for book reviews, right? You could get online and search Google and Twitter and everything else trying to find reviewers to review your book. There's never really an end to it. You're never really done. But if you spend all your time doing that and you don't spend any of your time doing anything else, writing, sending out queries, trying to get press, being on social media, doing a book event, calling potential sponsors, you know, if the only thing you're doing is looking for book reviews, this is only going to get you so far. So, and it can get draining. So, you know, you just do that for 10 minutes. Get as much done, which, by the way, I always recommend if you're doing something like that, you know, looking for press people to contact, looking for book reviewers to contact. You know, have a spreadsheet that you've got going with the information so you can follow up on it and keep track of it. But don't spend 2 hours filling out a spreadsheet. You know, fill out one name and then send that email. Send the email to the book reviewer right then. Because what you do is you start getting results. You start getting results right away. You know, if you find a place you want to guest blog, send the query to the to that blogger right then. Don't wait till you've got a list of 20 names. For one thing, you're going to get overwhelmed because if you have a list of 20 people to send out for guest blogging, for just as one example, and all 20 of them email you back and say, yeah, sure, then you've got 20 posts you got to write in like 2 days. How much better to like send out 1 or 2 requests a day, and then you're going to get 1 or 2 responses a day, and that's much more manageable. Okay, so these are just some of the little things that I do to kind of help manage my time. So doing stuff right away, taking action right away, doing this timer thing. So seriously, send out book reviews for 10 minutes. That timer goes off, then you switch. You do email. You do social media. You work on your writing. You know, you do the dishes. Whatever it is you need to have done. And, you know, just write a list. I'm going to spend this. These are the 4 things I'm trying to do. I'm going to spend 20 minutes on each. The other thing is, and this is why I say short blocks of time, 10, 15 minutes. First of all, it makes you super conscious of the time passing. Because you're working on your email, and all of a sudden that beeper beeps, and it's like, oh my gosh, did really 10 minutes just go by? That was so fast. So you're constantly reminded of that time passing rather than having that, oh my gosh moment at 2 hours when you go, what? I didn't even feel like I accomplished anything. The second thing is, because you're switching tasks, it keeps you in high energy mode. Because when we first start doing something, we plow into it, it's exciting. All right, I can do this, and then we, you know, like if you're trying to organize a room, right, and you start and you do the one shelf and it's, woohoo, I got that shelf done, then I'm going to do the next one, and then pretty soon you're like, oh, I don't know what to do with this, I don't know what to do with that. You get stuck. You know, so break it down into small pieces. You know, try to avoid getting in these things where you've got everything in your house in the middle of the room. Like, no, just organize one shelf. You know, just send 5 emails. Set yourself a goal. All of these kinds of things can help you. Which brings me to the last part of this place. Prioritize, let go, act, cluster, and then energize. It's really important that you have energy. And this is where you don't want to be a workaholic, as far as you don't want to be just doing things. There's two parts of this, I would say, to the whole idea of energy. The first one is really, really, really try to avoid those soul-sucking things. Things that you dread, that you hate doing, that suck the life out of you. And ask yourself, if it's something that has to get done, see if you can outsource it. Can you find somebody to do your taxes? Can you hire a housekeeper? I mean, seriously, go on Craigslist and find somebody for $15 an hour, $20. I mean, it doesn't have to be expensive. Some college student just trying to get a little extra work. And have them come and spend an hour in your house and help you, whatever. Can you outsource those things? Focus the majority of your time on the things that just get you so excited. And that doesn't mean there's not going to be things that you have to do that aren't fun. Sometimes there's stuff we have to do that are not fun. But that should never be the focus and the priority. So that's the first thing, is even in your work should be energizing. Your work should be something that moves you forward. Your work should be getting you excited. If you're speaking, if you're whatever. And that doesn't mean staying in your comfort zone. Sometimes we've got to go outside of our comfort zone. Sometimes we've got to push a little bit. That's all part of it. But you should feel energized, not just destroyed by what you're doing on an everyday, regular basis. And the second part of energize is the downtime. Are you taking downtime in an intentional, meaningful way? Because our bodies have a funny way of taking it whether we're intentional about it or not. So instead of just flopping at the end of the day and sitting and watching 5 hours of meaningless TV and just channel surfing and you don't know what you're doing or what you're watching or why, find that movie that you really want to see. Or, say, hey, I'm going to go get a massage, or I'm going to take a bath, or I'm going to read a book that I've really been wanting to read. Make your downtime meaningful. Things that you really care about, things that you really enjoy, things that lift your spirits and make you feel full of life. Because that's what's going to give you the energy to keep going on all these other things, even when it gets hard, even when you're tired, even when there are all these demands. It's what's going to give you the clarity of mind to make decisions about your priorities, to take action, to let stuff go when it's not a good thing for, the forward momentum of your life. As you can tell, I like quotes. I like reading what other people have had to say, and how that lines up with my experience of life. And Aristotle said the energy of the mind is the essence of life. If your mind is dead, if your spirit is dead, the essence of life is not going to be there. And it's going to be very hard for you to move forward. And I'm sure that something I've said today has resonated with you. Maybe you're a workaholic and you're constantly doing, but it's not meaningful. You're not taking the time to say, is what I'm doing actually moving me forward? Maybe you're somebody who's a planner who never does, makes all these lists, has all these ideas, but is scared of taking that step, very afraid of falling. Maybe you're somebody who's just, going through the motions. You've written this book, but you don't really think it's going to make it. So, you're afraid to try because you don't want people telling you that this thing you worked so hard on is terrible, so it's better just to not let really anybody see it. All of those things are things that are normal, but there are things you can rise above. There are things you can change. You can choose to make your time meaningful. You can choose to not get caught up in this idea that you don't have enough time. You have exactly enough time to do what you are meant to do. If you feel like you don't have enough time, it's probably because you're doing stuff you're not meant to do. If you're doing stuff you're not meant to do, it's draining time from the stuff you are meant to do. And for a lot of us, that means, there are often people pulling on us. I'm not really talking about kids because, kids just need a lot of attention, and that's normal and healthy and important that we give that to them. I'm talking about, the other adults in our lives. The people that are always monopolizing and draining and asking, and, we have to know when to say no. And we have to realize that at some point in time, if there's somebody that is taking all your energy and all your time and it's not moving them forward and it's not moving you forward, then what they're really doing is they're stealing time that you could be giving, that energy, that life force that you could be giving to somebody else who really does need it, and it would move them forward. Your book is going to help people. If you spend any time writing it, if it's any good, it'll help people. It's not going to help everybody, though. It's not for everybody. You're not trying to go and sell your book to everybody in the world. You're trying to find those people who your book is really going to be a benefit to, that they're really going to enjoy it. So don't chase down all the stuff that's not part of your mission, part of your vision, part of your values, the stuff that only you can do. So if you feel worn out and you feel like you have no time, figure out what are the things I'm doing that are not part of my mission, that are not moving me forward in my vision, that don't line up with my real true values about what I think is important. And eliminate those things. And add this new action that you need to take to move your book forward. So that's it. That's a little bit about time management, kind of a philosophy of time. The next video coming out is Charmaine Hammond going to be talking about procrastination. And because that's the next step for this whole time thing. We know what we want to do and we know how to do it, but then we get scared and stop. So I'll let her talk about that, and it's going to be fantastic. And then, like I said, we are going to, after that, give you another opportunity to really get even more in-depth with Karen and myself and Charmaine. And hopefully you'll have found value in all of these videos and just really that they're going to take your book and you're thinking about your book and your marketing to the next level. So leave me some comments. Let me know what you're letting go of. Let me know what you're taking action on. And we'll be excited to give you Charmaine's video